Hello and welcome to Decoding Helix episode number 9. I'm your host Sabin, and I just wanted to welcome you to our podcast. If you've already subscribed, I just want to thank you very much for joining us again. It means the world to me that you guys would subscribe to this podcast. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and make sure that you do. You're going to get the latest content as soon as it drops online. Well, without further ado, let's get into today's episode, which is actually about why haven't you started your own business already? Well, let's get into it. You have a great idea, you have a great product, you have a great service, but for one reason or another, you're still not in business for yourself. You still haven't started anything, and it's almost coming to the end of 2018. 2019's about to come here, and you might make another New Year's resolution where this year is going to be my year, and you still haven't done anything about it. Now, I know that there are absolutely different reasons why you may not have done that already. I know that I've had my own reasons in the past as to why I didn't start my own business, but I just wanted to go through a few of those things and not necessarily dismiss them because some things may be legitimate, but other things may just be our own minds and our own selves getting in the way of actually putting those wheels on the ground and starting something bigger than ourselves, for ourselves, and really believing that you can back yourself and do something a bit bigger than what you thought was even possible. So if you're like me and you've been having these great thoughts and having this great idea in your mind, then I just want to ask, why haven't you started already? What's the one thing that's held you back? Is it a combination of a number of things that's held you back? Is it someone else's opinion of you that's held you back? Is it somebody else's comments that they have made flippantly said to you, like, oh, you'll never do that, that's just not you? And look, the only person that knows what you're capable of is, in some cases, not even yourself, but you're the only one that can assess whether or not you are going to stick to doing something like starting a business and seeing it all the way through. But, it's absolutely up to you. Or, maybe it's something like fear. Fear is absolutely crippling if you let it. Now, I managed to sort of, I guess you can call it reshaping my fear or redirecting my fear. That's even better. I've redirected my fear from, oh my goodness, I can't do this, to, oh my goodness, if I don't do this, this is all I'm going to have, the 9 to 5. So that was a giant and very powerful, reason as to why I actually got into business for myself. Now, for you, it may be different, but, chances are that it's some sort of fear in one shape or another that's actually getting in your way and not letting you do what you really want to do. Because at the end of the day, those voices in your head that say you can't are just phantoms. They're nothing more than your own mind and your own self getting in your way and not really giving you that confidence. So, you may be very capable at what you want to start, but it's that initial confidence that you're lacking that is stopping you from, taking it to that next level, taking that next step, starting something up that you should be. Because let me tell you something, people are always looking for the next service or the next product that is going to help make their lives a little bit easier. One thing that I've noticed as I've grown up is, when I was in primary school, years used to drag on. 1 year would be like a lifetime to me when I was a kid. Then I kept growing up. High school got a little bit shorter because I started enjoying having that time with my friends at school. And then I became an adult. And again, when I started work, it was kind of exciting at the beginning because I hadn't done something like this before. So I was learning new things. I was experiencing new things, meeting new people. But then that started to wear off. And everything started to sort of drag all over again. And then got into a serious relationship with my now wife, and things just started to speed up as far as time was concerned. A year wasn't long enough anymore. What once dragged as far as time is concerned now kind of really sped up. And I didn't find I had enough hours in the day. I didn't have enough hours in a week or a month or a year. So I don't know if you're experiencing the same sort of thing, but you know, you really don't have a great deal of control over something like that. And it's an emotional feeling that you're actually going through, because time doesn't go faster or quicker. You know that, I know that. But at the end of the day, I mean, what are you doing with your time? How are you setting yourself up for your own future? If everything is up to you, and it most definitely, like in most cases, it is, don't let anybody talk you out of that, because honestly, nobody else is going to take as much of an interest in yourself as you are. So, what is it that stopped you? Like if it is, someone saying something that they shouldn't have, or if it's just your own mind playing tricks on you, then absolutely don't let it. Because let me tell you this, my one biggest regret so far has been that I didn't start earlier. And I've seen quotes where people have said stuff like, like you wish that you would have started this a year ago, or imagine where you could have been a year ago, or something to that effect. But you know what? None of that matters. Start now, but start. Don't beat yourself up about what you did or didn't do in the past. You can't change that. The only thing you can change is what you do with the time that you have now. So if you're thinking about starting something up for yourself, it could just be like a side gig or something like that. Maybe you want a little bit of extra money in your pocket at the end of the month. Maybe you want, you want a holiday or something like that. So you want a little bit of extra income to, build that up over time so you can afford to go to whatever place you want to go to. It's a good way of doing things. And honestly, you can never tell whether that is going to build up over time into something bigger than what you even imagined. Because as I was saying before, people are looking for, something that's going to make their life easier. And so are we, if we're honest about it. Our smartphones are making it easier for us to connect to everyone. And that's been a massive thing. But now, you've also got other advancements that have helped in that way. And if there's anything that you can contribute to people's lives to make them better, to make them a little bit easier, then why aren't you doing it? Because let me lay this thought on you, right? If you have something to offer, and you can change somebody's life, even if it's just one person, then shouldn't you at least give it a go? I mean, after all, it's kind of like, I don't know, I view it as my responsibility to do something far outside of myself, far outside of my comfort zone, if it's going to help one or two or more people. Because at the end of the day, look, we're all looking for something that is going to help us to spend more time with our families. Something that's going to help us to, buy a car a little bit quicker. Or in the case of companies, maybe if you're going to start something that's going to help, other companies and benefit them, then, maybe it's in the way of saving some time, or cutting down on processes that are, very exhausting on the staff that have to do that. So if you can offer something to this world, by all means, bring that to the table. And you know what? Don't be so selfish, man. I know it's easier said than done. So it's not like, the biggest hurdle in all of this is getting past yourself. And once you step out, you're going to find that there are other people who have done what you are thinking of doing, as far as, starting their own ventures and stuff like that. And those people are more than willing and happy and able to, give of their time and give of their expertise and help you out a little bit when you're feeling kind of stuck or when you're feeling kind of low. Personally, I joined a networking meeting. So I joined a networking meeting basically that helped me to get over a few of my fears. One of the things that they sort of helped me get through so far was, my fear of public speaking. And this is one of the other reasons why I actually started this podcast, is because, I'm not the greatest public speaker, and I'm afraid of staring into a microphone and feeling dumb about talking to no one, really. I'm sure that you guys are listening to this, and I hope that you're enjoying what you're hearing. But if you're like me and you have, issues of getting in front of a crowd and speaking your thoughts out to them, then something like that is definitely going to help you out, and I highly recommend it. So, thank you, CRG Creative, if you're listening. Thank you very much, Renee, for setting that entire, shindig up. So that was very cool of you to do, and very unselfish, and I'm sure that it was outside of your comfort zone, but if you wouldn't have done that, then, none of this would have been possible. So, we're all here to sort of support each other. So one of the things that I never recognized and that I didn't realize was I'm in my own bubble. The world that I live in is very limited because I only meet a certain amount of people per day, and it's usually the same crowd. Okay? So if you're like me and up until recently, if you were like me and you just go to work and then come home and maybe you do some stuff with your friends on the weekend, it's usually the same people. And they might be fantastic to hang out with, and you might love hanging out with them, and that's great. And you know what, keep doing that as much as you can, because you definitely need to relax and take a time out from business once in a while. But, if you meet the same people day in, day out, then how do you expect to grow when you only get a certain amount of perspective and only someone else's point of view? Because even when we're around other people at work, we still only sort of talk to one or two people that we kind of really get along with. Everyone else, it's usually just shop talk. So a place like, a networking meeting, for instance, where you can go there regularly and meet with like-minded individuals, will have possibly quite a number of positive effects on you. So one will be, you're going to have to break out of your shell and speak to new people, which if you're going to be a business owner, you have to have that ability. One of the biggest things that you're going to find is you can call yourself a director, you can call yourself a CEO, you can call yourself whatever you want. But at the end of the day, one of the biggest things you're going to be for your company is a salesperson. You're going to need to sell your product. You're going to need to sell your service. But what you're going to end up realizing is that people are buying you. So if you are not very vocal about what you do and you don't come across as being very confident, then it's gonna, it's all about perception. So people are gonna look at you, and if you're shy by nature and you're not very outspoken and you're not outgoing and you don't really know how to approach people, then that's gonna count against you. You might have one of the greatest things to offer, but if you don't know how to express yourself and to really start talking your business up, then it's just not gonna, you're not gonna come across as someone who someone else would want to have business dealings with. Well, that guy's not very confident. I don't believe he could do a very good job, or she might not be able to do a very good job because she kind of seems like she wants to sit at the table all by herself, and nobody really goes out of their way, from what I've seen and what I've experienced, to really reach out to people like that and go, hey, so what do you have to offer? I noticed you're sitting here in a corner by yourself and you're just sipping on your drink there, but, what's your story? I mean, there are like people like that are few and far between where they're actually interested in what you have to offer unless you go out there and start engaging with them. So there's a number of benefits to actually attending a group like that. The other thing is, like, public speaking. Man, that really put me out of my comfort zone. I like, I like being a quiet person. I like sitting alone in a corner and reading a book by myself. That is my idea of a good time. But in business, you can't be like that. No one else is going to advertise you. You're the guy. You're going to have to be that person. You are, you're the woman that everyone's going to look at and go, you know what? Tell me what you have. Show me what you got. How good are you? And you are going to have to tell them. So there's that to keep in mind. But one of the other benefits that, one of these groups is actually going to be able to help you with is you may find your first client or clients there. So it could work a number of ways for you. And I highly recommend it just because you get to meet other business owners and other people who are interested in being successful and growing. And that is extremely important when, you're just starting out. You're going to be able to learn from some of these people and ask them questions and just listen to what they have to say. You have to remember that you're not the first person to have started a business, or you're not the first person to start a business. So listen to those who have kind of run that race before you and go for it. Ask those questions, get out of your own comfort zone, and just really break through. But whatever you decide to do and however you decide to do it, you don't have to go to networking meetings if you don't really want to. There are other ways to attract clients or to, get a bit of mentorship going. But I found that way was one of the easiest ways for me to do it, and it was the most cost-effective way, and that really did come into it for me as well, by the way. So just have a think about really what you want to achieve. But whatever happens, just start. It is up to you, okay? So if you're listening to this and you have a good idea in your head, and there's a market for it because no one else is doing it, or very few people are doing it, or there's a high demand for whatever you have to offer, then start something. You have no idea where it's going to lead you. So don't be afraid, don't be shy, and if you are shy, you might want to change that habit. I mean, I had to, and pretty much everyone I think has to, unless they're, like a naturally bubbly person that goes around and talks to everybody. I wish I could be like that. But, I have a ways to go, and I guess when I first started out going to these kinds of meetings and, seeing new people and stuff like that and talking to them about my business and listening to them talk about theirs, it was a case of fake it till you make it, I mean, I was no good at talking myself up. In fact, one of the first meetings that I actually went to, it was in the city, and I was given about 30 seconds to give an elevator pitch about my business, and I failed miserably, like in my own view. I kept going over time. The guy kept ringing the bell, which was really distracting and annoying, and I think it was just a train wreck. I would have loved to have watched that on playback. I would have laughed at myself so bad. But yeah, look, stuff like that is going to happen. And you know what? I just didn't let it stop me or derail me. I knew what I wanted to do. I know that there is a need for what I have to bring, for what my business has to offer. So I have to keep going. I know it's the right thing to do. And, apart from the fact that I know all the information that I possibly can at this point in time about what I have to offer, it's then, I don't know, I kind of see it as my responsibility to go out there and start helping other people know the same things that I do. And I'm more than happy to share my knowledge with people. I'm more than happy to, spend some time with them and kind of show them what they could do better, if they're not already doing it. But if I don't tell people that, hey, here's what I know, would you like to know the same thing? Then they'll never find out. So, you know, I mean, it's totally up to you how you approach this thing. But I guess at the end of it, the point is, make sure you start. Make sure you don't just let somebody else's words get in your way, and make sure you don't let your own excuses become your reasons. So that was one thing that I struggled with a lot. It's very easy to kind of mistake those two, like reasoning or your reasons and your excuses. It's very easy to sort of cross those wires, but what's really hard is getting out of that sort of rut. So if you're having, a problem like that, I would suggest going and seeing someone, and make sure you talk to somebody, by the way. If you're finding it difficult to break out of your shell and you really want to start something, you want to start a business, you want to start a company, you want to start this, that, and the other, you want to start offering some services, then go out there and talk to someone who's already done it before. If you're, start local, start with, like, if your parents, if one of them owns a business, or one of them has gone quite high up inside another company, they're definitely going to be able to give you some insights. Maybe swallow some pride, pick yourself up, and go and ask those questions and have a very honest conversation. And you're going to be surprised by what you find out. And if your parents aren't available for that kind of thing, then, find someone who you trust and talk it out with them and go, look, man, this is what I've been thinking recently, and I'm very certain it's the right thing to do and the right way to go about it, but I want to know whether or not you think that I'm wrong or what you see with it, and I just want your honest opinion. And you have to be able to sit there and take whatever they say, whether it's positive or negative. But look, before I keep rambling on too much, I thought that I would just share this with you, and at the end of it, you know what, just don't sit on a great idea, make it happen. It is completely up to you for the most part. If there is some, absolute roadblocks that are standing in your way, whether they're financial, whether it's family related or anything like that, then, I completely empathize with you. But at the end of the day, if there's nothing like that standing in your way, then take stock and really have a think about why you haven't taken the first step yet. And once you realize what you need to realize, then go out there and do something that you haven't done before. It's exciting, it's scary, it's new, and it's absolutely worth it in my experience. I've learned so much since I've started this that it's absolutely worth its weight in gold if I could even measure it. So, look, you know what? I'm going to end it there. I hope that this episode has been very helpful to you. I hope that you have been able to get something out of it. I hope that you're a little bit more pumped up and have a little bit more, of an understanding that you're not alone in what you're going through. But yeah, by all means, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, hit that button, and that way when the latest content comes out, you guys will have it as soon as it's dropped online. And until next time, I hope that you guys have a think about what you've heard today. If you have any sort of comments or anything like that to leave, please leave them below. I will go through them and have a look at each and every one of them. So until next time, take care of yourselves and consider starting something that you haven't before, like your brand new business. Until then, I'll see ya.